All right, thanks everybody for joining us for Pizza Tower. I know nothing, but we have pizza, we have a tower, and we have runner, commentary, and my humble self. I'm Friendship Cannon FC, and I'm handing it over to cocoasprinkle. Take it away.
Hello everyone, my name is cocoasprinkle. I'm known pretty well within the Pizza Tower speedrun community for making speedrun tutorials. I've been working on bug fixes for the game in the past, especially recently. And yeah, I'm kind of known as a high-level runner. I don't like to showboat too much, but yeah, I'm pretty good at the game. On commentary with me is Turpo.
Yeah, hi. I am also a Pizza Tower speedrunner like Vanny here. I primarily play Pino. I also am known to play a bit of noise, and I'm here to help Vanny commentate over the run.
Alright, okay, so we are going to start in a little bit. First of all, I'm going to explain the category. No major glitches means that no out-of-bounds glitches or pause abuse that allows for enemy despawning and stuff like that is allowed. So you won't see any big floor skips, boss skips. It will just be the full game besides one level that we'll be skipping between because of the topping route.
Basically, it's playing the game as the developers intended, no game-breaking bugs. You can skip a maximum of 9 top-ins in the entire run, which is why we're skipping one level, because each level has 5 top-ins in it. We'll also skip 4 top-ins in 2 other levels later on. We just go for the minimum amount of top-ins that are required to complete the game.
Yes. Alright, okay, so I think we are ready to start. I will do a countdown. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, start! Here we go. It's pizza time now.
So the first thing you'll notice is that even though Vanny has played this game and finished it many times over, the game still forces you to play through the tutorial, which it doesn't take too long, but it can be quite difficult to do optimally because of the tight spacing in the rooms.
Oh, trust me, I would know. It's become a bit of a joke inside that I like to reset my runs a lot in the tutorial stage, so I spend a lot of my runs in the first minute and that alone. So you'll see here, you've got a few fast falls here. Fast falls are done by pressing grab and down the same frame, but luckily, the devs added multi-binds, which are basically macros that allow you to press multiple inputs on one button, and that is very useful for fast falls and high jump, which you'll see in a minute. Well, actually, in about a few seconds, actually. If I get it right, that is. Ah, there you go. That's a high jump.
As Vanny explained with the fast fall, the high jump is also a speedrun strat where you press sprint, jump, grab, and up on the same frame, and it lets you do a jump that has the height of a uppercut, which is just, as the name entails, a higher jump.
If you're wondering how we instantly turned, well, instantly turned is a pretty funny way of putting it at Pillar John. That is called an insta-turn. Basically, if you release run while in the middle of a jump grab, you will start walking really fast, aptly called fast walking. And with that, you can press run and the opposite direction on the same frame. And yeah, you'll instantly turn, like the name suggests.
Though, enough about the speedrun sets. The first level here, John Gutter, very simple level, just straight lines, no transformations.
Yeah,
pretty bare bones level, though because of the fact that you're just playing as regular Pino the entire time, it is probably one of the most difficult ILs in the game, because you have to have perfect movement the entire time, especially with how short it is.
Absolutely. We'll do another instant turn here. It's pizza time for the first time of 18? I don't actually know.
19.
19, okay.
But yeah, if anyone doesn't know how Pizza Tower works, at the end of each level there is a pillar named Pillar John. You break him and you have to dash back to the beginning under a strict time limit. Though the time limit is not really as strict when you're a speedrunner. It's basically non-existent as a threat.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you're speedrunning, usually you'll be done with, like, more than half of the time left. Oh, oh.
That
Oh, that's unfortunate. So B is okay, according to the game, but that'll be perfectly fine for us, because we only care about the toppings, which give us money towards boss gates, which you'll see in a few minutes as we go to the first boss. But first, before then, it's Pizzascape.
Pizzascape is the level where the first transformation is brought into play.
Yes!
You'll see that soon. But John Gutter was just running through the level as just Pino with his base movement, but soon you'll see that not every level is just running through without any changes. Here is the Knight transformation. The Knight basically just doesn't allow you to run anymore like you usually could, but you can break through enemies without any worry. You're completely invincible, and you can slide down ramps to break rats, which rats are only breakable with certain conditions in this game, usually transformations.
Alright, so we're going through this room to collect a key, because there are some doors that require keys like this to open. There's not many of them in the game. There's a handful in the first floor, though.
Yeah, there is actually a strat right here with the door that if you uppercut at, well, unfortunately Vanny failed it there, but if you uppercut specifically to land on the door with the last frame, you can actually skip the animation of Pino holding up a thumbs up towards camera.
That takes about 2 seconds per door if you actually do it. I did not do it properly there. The escape's pretty self-explanatory. If we've got any donations, now would probably be the time to read them. There we go.
Let me check. So far, it's looking quiet on that front, but we'll get them in yet.
Yeah, we'll see. Go on, guys, save those children, and most importantly, kill Snotty. Please.
And remember, you can donate towards the Speed Dogs Burger condiments, the top 2 advance.
Ooh.
What is in that poll? Let me check it real quick. View the details on this one. Ketchup, mustard, mayo, barbecue sauce, and In-N-Out spread. And so for only $25 towards mustard. Would we go for double mustard? That would be nice and spicy.
Double mustard?
I think we're torturing CC already now.
I think I might have actually mixed the topping by accident, so we're gonna have to improvise.
Yeah, that was... Usually you're supposed to get all 5 toppings in that level and go straight to Pepperman because you have enough money to buy it.
I forgot!
Unfortunately, we kind of have to go off script here a bit and go straight to Ancient Cheese, the 3rd level in the game.
Oops.
Ancient Cheese's gimmick is these bombs that you pick up and throw at the rats. They have a limited fuse, so you usually want to get rid of them as soon as possible. But you can also get them from certain enemies, like the bomb goblins on this level. So it's not just the spawners, you can also get them from the bomb goblins. Other than that, there's collapsing cheese blocks in this level that, like most platformers have, it's a platform that when you stand on it, it disappears and comes back after a short while. But other than that, Ancient Cheese is a pretty standard level, not very complicated.
Yeah.
Though most of the floor 1 levels are like that. Once we get into the later floors, the levels are going to get more complicated and also usually longer. The floor 1 levels are usually quite short.
Yeah, trust me, the game gets a lot more interesting circa probably floor 3. Floor 2's got some interesting stuff, it's got its own spice.
Another insta-turn there. One saves a pretty good amount of time.
Yeah, it kind of depends on what insta-turn it is, on like how much time it saves.
Usually insta-turns save about a second at most, some save less, some save slightly more. But they add up. Second by second it adds up.
Absolutely.
Though we should be leaving this level
Ooh.
pretty soon now. Only a couple more rooms left. There's quite a few things that aren't utilized in the any percent run very much. Specifically the ranking system. We're just usually going to be getting B ranks, maybe a few A ranks here and there. But the ranks above that are S and the famous one P rank. But because we're doing any percent, there's no incentive to even bother going for P ranks.
Yeah. Okay, now we actually have enough toppings. We can actually go to the boss gate where this greedy little greedy guy, Mr. Stick, will take our money and give us a boss gate in exchange. This is Pepperman, and he doesn't quite look like the art, as you'll see. He's kind of doing a bit of artistic license on that. As you can see, he's a painter.
Pepperman is literally just a sentient pepper with arms and legs.
Yeah, that's kind of what
he's a pretty simple boss. Doesn't really do anything special. It's supposed to teach you how bosses work in this game, which, as you can tell, in usual levels, Pino is completely invincible no matter how many times you get hit. The only thing that you're gonna do is lose points. But in the bosses, he can actually die, though obviously that's pretty difficult to do when you're speedrunning, seeing as you know these bosses by heart.
Yeah,
but Pepperman is also known in the community to be a bit of a run killer in the early game.
Yeah.
Despite being very easy for casual players, the strats that we do can get kind of complicated and precise. But for now, Vanny seems to be doing quite well on this Pepperman attempt.
Yeah, if you know the original fight, you'll know that sometimes Pepperman will turn around when he's doing his little charge attack. We skip that by literally all we do is we just go against the wall and that's it. Because he can't get the charge in time. And that is Pepperman. Pretty standard.
Though, here when Vanny picks up the key, as soon as you pick up the key, you can just exit the level and it will count as it being beaten. Despite not giving you any rank, it'll still give you the key and you can progress to the next floor.
Yeah.
That is a strat that is used almost exclusively in bosses called RSS, which is short for Results Screen Skip. Because as you saw in comparison to the regular levels, the results screen of the B rank is nowhere to be seen with the boss.
Yeah, it used to be used quite a while ago, almost a year ago, when we still used RTA for timing most runs. And but when the developers helped us get live sprint support with an actually working in-game timer, it turns out that because of the tumble animation that plays when you exit a level, it takes longer in terms of in-game time to do result screen skips, so you might as well just go through the screen itself.
So here's the last level of floor 1. It's quite a unique one, Blood Sauce Dungeon. It's unique in the fact that it is almost entirely vertical in comparison to the horizontal levels we had before.
Yes.
Where on the pre-escape is you descending down the dungeon, while after you break Pillar John, you can just climb up the walls and escape that way via ascending.
Yeah, and there's plenty of very spicy sauce which basically acts as lava that you've got to try and avoid, which isn't too hard, but sometimes it can trip you up if you miss like a tech of some kind.
Though both for casuals and for speedrunners, Blood Sauce Dungeon is a significant difficulty spike, specifically because for casuals it's obviously a very weird change to go vertical, while for speedrunners there is just a lot of strats that we need to do in this level.
Yeah, and you
many insta-turns, and also a variation of the insta-turn that we saw there at the pineapple top-in.
Oh.
If you...
Okay, I don't know what I did there.
If you uppercut right as you're about to turn around next to a ceiling, you can basically do an insta-turn without any of the difficulty. Here you should be able to see one. Yeah, exactly like that. It almost looks like an unbuffered insta-turn, but it is just uppercutting against the ceiling and holding the other direction, and we call those up dogs.
Yo, what's up, dog? I know what's up. It's a beautiful number, like 3,321, 3321, and it happened. It happened because of two beautiful donations. One by Tape Tracker, $10. Snotty ruined my flippin' life. I don't know if you wanted to put that towards killing Snotty, but we'll count it as that, definitely. And Mama CJ coming in clutch once again. Need to keep this donos moving. Thanks to everyone for volunteering their time for a great cause. Yeah, thanks to the runners. Without those, it wouldn't happen.
Of course.
By the way, what's the lore? We gathering toppings.
The pizza tower lore. Yes. Okay.
Are we doing pizza? That's the most important question. I promised the people pizza.
Oh, about that.
Oh no! Don't.
How do we tell him? You don't make pizzas in the pizza tower. I'm sorry.
Such restless, yeah. It
You don't
like that.
You see, in the pizza tower, you don't make the pizzas make you.
I mean, the pizza's about to...
Oh.
Well, we had actually explained the lore. That's something we probably got to explain. Basically...
Well...
do you want to... Not much.
Do you want to tell it, or...?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and tell everyone the lore. So basically, the lore is that Pino is a pizza restaurant owner who is severely in debt. He hasn't really gotten many orders. We gotta support that boy eventually. But there's a big massive pizza called Pizza Face who wants to destroy this restaurant. Why? We have no idea. What the hell did Pepino do to him? We will never know. They'll never explain that to us. But yeah, big massive pizza with a face wants to shoot a laser at the pizza restaurant. We gotta stop him. And to do that, Mr. Stick requires monetary compensation, and he charges $10 per topping as an exchange rate. So we gotta collect as many toppings as we can. That's about it, really.
I'm doing the pizza in the pizza tower game. I'm okay. I can vibe with that.
Sums
If
it
we
up
kill the
pretty well.
big pizza, maybe we can eat that.
So this is Hotly Skip. Go ahead and
yes, that is one of the biggest skips in the game. Usually that room requires you to go all the way around and do a big section with the Firemouth transformation, which is the transformation of this level. But if you precisely time a jump on the enemy there, the Kentucky Kenny, is what they're called, you can actually make it up there to the ledge without having to do any of that, saving about 10 to 15 seconds. Pretty substantial.
Yeah, by the way, if you want to learn these tricks, there are tutorials, wink wink, that you can watch on YouTube. There's quite a few. Especially recently.
Though, despite this being a desert level, near the end you just go into a UFO filled with olives. Bit of foreshadowing for a future level there.
I've been out in space, but not for the last time.
And there's also cows in this level that don't really hurt you so much as they just make you lose time because they kick you and stun you.
Yeah, all they do is just act like a nuisance. They literally stand there doing nothing, wait for you to run into them. Also, ladders are an absolute pain in the butt to go into. Because you have to be in a walking state and holding down while grounded, and that can be pretty pesky in some situations.
Though specifically for this level, instead of just getting the toppings on your way through, there's actually pizza marts that you have to enter to specifically get all the toppings. 5 pizza marts, 5 toppings. There's gonna be some other levels that also have little subsections for each topping like that, but we won't see those for a little while now. They're a bit later in the game.
The pizza got the donos going. Melody coming in with $5. Hey, where did you get that pizza? From the tower over there. Good luck with your run, Bunny.
Thanks, Melody. Alright, so our regular desert is done. All I'm going to say is that we're 2 levels away from the funny Mort the Chicken level.
That is on this floor.
That is on this floor, but not just yet, because we gotta go to the Land of Graves. Waste Yard. Looking forward to
Waste Yard is the first level where you can kind of... There isn't really any pizza theming in this level. It's basically just a graveyard.
Yeah, people just died, I guess, making pizza. We will never know. They never tell us these tragic backstories.
Among speedrunners, this level is one of the most despised, specifically for one strat near the end. We'll see if it is a very difficult strat, so we'll see if Vanny's even going to be able to get it, but if it is a very difficult strat and it doesn't save as much time as something like Hot Wing Skip in Oregano Desert,
Absolutely, yeah.
it is still a worthwhile skip to go for if you're a top level runner going for low times.
Yeah. I'm gonna need a lot of hype in the chat if I get it. You'll know if I got it. It's a pretty obvious VI skip, and it's coming up in the next room here.
I'm holding out hope.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's a shame. Well, the skip itself requires you to get that bandito through both of those blocks there. That's the bandito chicken. If you can get it down there, you can stand next to the little crouch hole there. And if you get hit, right as you also try and grab it, you can carry it with you through the wall, which is obviously not intended, and you can break the Pillar John without having to do that entire section as the ghost. Speaking of Pillar John, the gimmick for this level is that once you break Pillar John at the end, he starts chasing you as a ghost.
Yeah, he died! He's dead!
If he catches you, he sends you back to the start of the current room you're in, but for speedrunners, he's usually a non-issue.
Yeah.
He does have some rubber banding, which means the further away you are, the faster he goes, but once he gets near you, he goes painfully slow.
I gotta wonder though, because this John straight up dies. I wonder if there are multiple Pillar Johns or if there's just one that just keeps respawning. Alright, so we never even really got to explain the transformation here, actually. So, that's the last time we see it. But as the ghost, you can go through specific white blocks if you have enough speed, and go through cheese graters, which are how you become the ghost in the first place. And yeah, it's kind of a minimal transformation, but it has its own quirks.
Yeah, most of the transformations in the game are just single level one-offs that they get used for one level and then they just are left behind and never used again.
Yeah.
Though it wasn't really a transformation, but you can tell the game is ridiculous because you can surf on corpses.
Yeah.
But here's the main event.
More the chicken! As some people will know, there is a hilariously terrible PS1 game called Mort the Chicken, and they actually got the rights to use this character from that game in Pizza Tower. How? I have no idea, but they did. And we'll see him in just a few rooms.
So yeah, like we had hot wings or ghosts or whatever else as the transformations. The transformation for Fun Farm is the titular Mort the Chicken.
Except this time, it kind of looks like you're not controlling Pepino, but Mort is controlling you. Pepino does not enjoy this at all. You can kind of tell that with like basically every transformation, actually.
But basically, the transformation is just, again, like most transformations, it takes away your ability to mock run or sprint, but it does give you a double jump and a swiping attack that also makes you move slightly faster than walking.
Yeah. And generally, Mort can be a bit of a hindrance, so you kind of want to spend as little time with him as possible, which will become quite evident in one specific room when we go out of our way to avoid Mort. Sorry, Mort fans.
But yeah, Fun Farm is actually one of the shortest levels. I think it is the shortest level in Floor 2. And here's the strat that Vanny was talking about. Usually here you need to get Mort to get over this jump with the hooks. But if you're fast enough, you can just jump all the way over. We call that Mortless.
It used to be a lot harder when there was a little bug in the game for quite a while, actually, before the noise got added as a playable character, where every time you did a wall run and exited it, you'd get a little bit of airtime, which made it very hard to time precise jumps like the one needed for Mortless. Well, now that that's gone, at least in like the unintended way, we can just slide over there easily. It's not even risky anymore.
But yes, that was a very clean Fun Farm.
Oh, that's a personal best on that IL. That is a very funny place to have that happen.
Getting an IL PB in a marathon is actually ridiculous.
It is
But
actually.
here's the last level of floor 2, Fast Food Saloon. As you can tell, this entire floor just has the aesthetic of a wild western desert type thing with Oregano Desert and the Fun Farm. And now we have the Fast Food Saloon, where the main gimmick for these toppins is racing the horsey that's here. Not all of the toppins are gotten there, but most of them are gained from winning races against horsey. For casuals, he can be a bit difficult to beat, but for speedrunners, he's not even on screen most of the time.
That is a very, very specific alignment used to get through that gap there. It's called a gap dive, but that is called a gap dive setup. It's not exactly the fastest way to do that bit anymore, but it is definitely the coolest, and it is the most consistent in my opinion. It saves a lot of time.
Though, as we can see in this room, the gimmick for this level is the weenie mount. Pino just grabs onto a big sausage and rides through and bulldozes through any rats in his way.
Yeah. And in here, we have to get a key from this room, which you need to beat Horsey in a race for. But you don't have to take the wiener with you. You can just let the bandito do the dirty work for you. And that's the key. In record time.
If you don't care about toppins, you can just get through this room without having to ride the weenie. But because we're getting all the toppins here, you do need to ride the weenie to break through that rat and grab the last toppin.
And that's an actual
controversial pick maybe, but other than there's mushrooms, cheese, tomatoes, sausages, normal pizza toppings, but they also put in a pineapple as a pizza topping.
Ooh, that's gonna ruffle some feathers. Controversial take. I think pineapple works okay on pizza, I just do not like the fruit. Sausage is the best topping, by a long shot.
But usually, in the escape sequences, all of the transformations and stuff just get left behind, and new pathways open up, which we forgot to mention in John Gutter. There are John blocks in every level that, when the escape is triggered, those flip and go from solid to non-solid. So there's separate pathways that open up specifically in the escape that you can't go through before them.
If you're wondering what the hell just happened there, we used results tree skip as previously mentioned, but we can hold up to instantly teleport to Mr. Stick, which saves not that much time, I think it's about 2 seconds. But that's called Vigi Up Warp. It's not too hard to do, as long as you get the right alignment with the door.
Though, yeah, it is called Vigi Up Warp because this is the boss fight for floor 2, the Vigilante. It's different than the others, specifically because he gives you a gun, a revolver.
Yeah, you're not attacking by true means. This is a very fair fight. Well, not really. He also has bombs and radio-controlled cows that fly around everywhere.
But the strat for this is just basically to try and stun lock him, because with the revolver you can use either charge shots or small shots. Each little health point of the Vigilante's health takes 8 shots to actually damage. So the charge shot does 6, and the small shots each do 1. So trying to perfectly time a charge shot and then finishing him off with 2 small shots is the optimal strategy for the job.
And here you got to time a draw, because just like the Wild West, they have a draw here. If you mistime it, then you have to go straight back to the last hit, but we are too good for that. Trust me, I failed it once.
And Ellie Jelly joining us. Howdy, hi there.
Hello, Ellie.
Hey.
While we go to floor 3, you can introduce yourself if you want, Ellie.
Yeah. I'm Ellie. I was on the couches for both of the GDQ runs.
Oh, yes.
I'm not the best, but I'm excited to be here.
Right,
That's
okay.
all we want to see. Get the hype.
Moving on to Crust Cove here. Okay.
Yeah, Crust Cove is the first stage of Floor 3, which Floor 3 is usually quite a favorite among Pizza Tower players. Not specifically because of Crust Cove, because of some other levels, but Crust Cove is still a pretty fun level, which the main gimmick is this barrel. That the only thing you can do when you're in the barrel is just roll around and jump occasionally. It's not very fast, so we just try and get out of it as soon as possible. But other than that, there's also some piranha-infested water that you can only get over if you're running at Mach 3 or higher. If you aren't, then you're just going to get bitten by the piranhas and lose all of your speed.
Got a key here to unlock a door in the room we were just in.
So here we have another situation where Vanny can perhaps show off the up door. And there it is. If you do the uppercut perfectly, there is no animation of Pepino celebrating opening the door. It just goes through a door as if it's any other.
Try not to go into the second secret here. That can sometimes happen, because it's literally right on that wall that we just crossed over. And it's happened far too many times for me to count.
There is quite a cool strat with the barrel here. You usually need to jump back and forth across the platforms here, but if you just hold jump, you can just boost off of these enemies and get past with no problem.
Yeah, the timing is a little bit weird, but it isn't too precise once you get it down. It's generally an afterthought after a while.
And it's pizza time once more. The water currents are... They just take away all control from you, so you just have to ride with them until they let you play again. But specifically there, you have no choice but to enter that barrel there, because the water current puts you in it without any of your... any say.
Oh, it just came to me what topping I missed earlier. You know the bit where you sometimes jump up and then you can even instant turn a wall dive? It's right when you go into the first key room. I missed that one. I think it's...
Yeah, the Pizzascape sausage, that's what you meant.
The sausage, yeah. I forget which topping's which.
But yeah, we are approaching the end of Crust Cove now.
And we get onto a very special level in just a jiffy.
The next level is quite a unique one, because up until now, yes, there have been lots of transformations from slow to fast, or fun or boring, but there's always been something in each level other than John Gunner, which was basically just an extended tutorial. But Gnome Forest is slightly different, because you don't actually play as Pepino for most of the stage. You start off as him, play a couple rooms, but
you'll see what comes next, yeah.
You'll see soon that you'll actually play as someone different.
Now this looks idyllic. Hopping in, telling everybody that I want some pizza, and I donated to absolve myself so I can hop on over to the oven. We're at $3,333.33, and a bit of that might have come from me just now. I want some za, and be right back.
Alright. Right, let's explain Gustavo then.
Gustavo and Brick is the alternate character that is available in Gnome Forest. They play pretty differently to Pepino, mainly because they don't have a wall climb whatsoever. And they're also significantly slower than Pepino's max speed. But they are quite a powerhouse, seeing as Gustavo can kick Brick, as you saw there, which just acts like a projectile. Gustavo can also spin off of Brick to damage enemies, and other than that, they can also double jump and also wall jump, which
makes for some very interesting movement. But aside from that, it's not a terribly strat-heavy level. You'll kind of see different movement if you're looking at different runners. Definitely included in mine. My Gustavo movement is not the best.
Gustavo and Brick as a duo, as a character, are just kind of less intense than Pepino, simply because there really isn't that many speedrun strats you can do. The most you can do is just optimize your movements as to make as little mistakes as possible, but high jumps, fast falls, instant turns, none of that actually exists as Gustavo and Brick.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that, mainly because of the fact that Gustavo doesn't actually have a grab like the Pino.
You can spin him in air, but that's about it. No grabs in sight.
Yeah. So if you've noticed, instead of collecting toppings from cages, we've been carrying around these little gnome pizzas and delivering them to the residents of the forest. It adds a little bit of variety.
These timers are pretty strict when you're starting, and sometimes you can miss them, but usually we finish them with like more or like about half the time left.
The timers really aren't even like an issue for speedrunners because each gnome pizza takes 90 seconds to get cold, which if they get cold then you can't get the topping anymore. But as you can see, it's not even close to being too slow to get them. But here we are, pizza time again. Which, even though the escape sequence of Gnome Forest is surprisingly short, only a few rooms, the game actually gives you quite a lenient time limit, mainly because I assume the devs thought that people would need time to get accustomed to Gustavo and Brick's completely different moveset to the Pinos.
And also, they do have to change the timers to account for lap 2, which is a 100% mechanic, which lets you get extra points for completing the escape a second time. So the devs needed to be a bit more lenient with timers for that specifically. However, we do not need to go for lap 2, so this is a non-issue for us.
Yeah, now we can go back to that guy.
Back to
And
this
that- and by
boring
that-
late
and by
guy
that
who
guy, I
didn't
mean
make pizzas.
Who's that guy?
Who's this guy?
But yeah, for both of the levels that Gustavo and Brick show up in, near the end you do swap back to Pepino to finish the level.
Yeah.
Gnome Forest is the level that you play more Gustavo and Brick than Pepino in, but there is another level that Gustavo and Brick show up in later, but we'll get there when we get there.
Yeah. Ooh,
I don't think we mentioned that strat yet. There is a strat that Vanny just did to enter that level, which is Deepish 9. If you climb a wall and let go of the sprint button while holding jump, you can do something that's called a Mac launch, which basically just lets you maintain your upwards momentum without having to climb a wall, which basically just lets you get a very high vertical wall jump off of certain walls.
Yeah.
A Mac launch? What is this, McDonald's?
Mook launch. Since when did they start selling pizzas in McDonald's anyway?
I think they actually did sell them for like just a little bit, then they stopped. There's actually, from what I remember, I think there's only like one restaurant that still does pizzas, and I think it's like somewhere in Florida.
Oh, I see. Bit of trivia I didn't know.
Yeah, it was just way too ineffective for like, yeah. But back to this. We took a rocket ship. Now we're in like a different area.
Yeah, the main thing about Deep Dish 9 is that it's supposed to be this game's space level, alien level. It's the preview we saw in Oregano Desert of the UFO olives, as they're called, the aliens that look like olives. And the main gimmick is the rocket, which you can ride on, which lets you break rats and asteroids. And also the 3 separate planets. You start off in the purple rocket ship of the aliens, then you go to like the green planet we were just in, and finally this yellowish orange cheese planet.
Yeah.
Right.
And
it's pizza time.
Yeah, pizza time. You've also got these little olive bubbles that were like kind of alluded to by Oregano Desert earlier in the UFO section. If you take those, you'll just start going up to higher sections. Generally, they're kind of slow, for sometimes you kind of want to get out of them as soon as possible, but in some, they're pretty mandatory. Oh.
Also, that was unfortunate. Usually you can jump straight over the first olive and get to the second olive if you're fast enough. But unfortunately, sometimes you get into the second olive but still touch the teleporter, so it sends you backwards.
Yeah, it's a
which is what happened there.
Yeah.
There's also these switches in Deep Dish 9 that whenever you touch them, they swap the blocks back and forth, similarly to how the John blocks work. except you can control them. They don't
Yeah.
actually show up that often, but Deep Dish 9 is one of the levels that they show up in.
Yeah, it only shows up in Freezer Raider later on, I'm pretty sure. I think it's the only other level that does it.
Though after Deep Dish 9 comes usually a fan favorite among at least casual players, though before then we do actually pay Mr. Stick in between Deep Dish 9 and Golf. Despite spawning the boss gate, we don't actually fight the boss yet. We have to play some golf first.
You're
Let's go golfing!
By the way, Vanny, reminder, you should get an extra top in the Pig City because you missed one.
Ah, yes.
But
I could think of a boat
golf
course.
has the main... There's not really a transformation in golf, more so just a mini-game of hitting this guy, the grease ball, into basketball hoops for some reason. But that's basically how the golf mini-game works.
Ooh,
You just hit this grease ball into the basketball hoop, and if you get under a certain par, then you get a primo bird, which gives you more points, but we don't really care about points in any percent.
Yeah.
There is a very substantial skip near the end of this level that it is arguably the most important strat in the entire game, but we'll get to that when we get to that. First, you need to do a couple courses for top-ins, which this is another one of those levels where each top-in is its own section. Like Oregano Desert had the pizza marts, now you have courses, golf courses, for the top-ins. You have the fry course, the soda course, the bird course, and the final course. But golf is one of the levels that we actually intentionally skip top-ins in. We only get the mushroom, cheese, and tomato. We leave behind the sausage and pineapple because they just take too long to get, and it's better to leave them behind. Hence why Vanny isn't going into the bird course though. And the final course is the strat that we were talking about. This is Berg Skip. Usually, there is a about minute-long section that you need to do in the escape, but if you set up the burger golfer like that, you can just leave.
Yeah, because the burger golfer kicks the golf ball into the Pillar John. As easy as that.
So yeah, instead of having to spend a minute of escape time playing more golf minigames and wasting our time, we can just instantly run on back, making golf one of the shortest levels in the game. At least if you don't go for the top-ins.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the 80%, like, without getting top-ins, the IL for that is only about a minute 20 seconds long, so it's pretty short.
Yeah, around there. And after golf comes a fan-favorite character in the form of a boss fight.
Ah, yes.
You know him, you shouldn't love him, but you'd rather hate him. It's the Noise.
And
The
the
one and
noise,
only.
if you know Domino's 80s commercials, yes, he's a parody of the Noid, that red little stain who used to pollute your TV stream with Domino's advertisements.
The Noise was added as a playable character recently, but before then, the Noise was just known as the bane of every speedrunner, because his boss fight is absolutely littered with RNG. Every single attack he does is random in the order, and it's also random, it's just random when he does the attacks. So if you get bad RNG in comparison to good RNG, you could just lose upwards of 10, maybe 15 seconds through no fault of your own.
Yeah, and you'll see throughout these boss fights, we're trying to hit the bosses as close to the walls as possible, because it skips the little animation that they play, where they'll kind of go flying towards the TV, towards the wall rather, sorry.
Though in Phase 2 now, when the balloon shows up and just jump scares both Pino and Noise, now little Noisies, like Noise's minions spawn, which usually are a nuisance, but if you know how to maneuver them, they just give you free hits against them. If you can grab a Noisy and throw it back at him, that just stuns him and you can get a free hit without having to wait for his attack.
And that is the noise. Might be
The
the best
Noise is
I've ever
unlike
done that
all the
fight.
other bosses. Pino doesn't actually beat him himself. It's actually Noisette. Noise's girlfriend.
Now,
comes in and
Noise,
just takes
can't
him
use
away.
those guns.
Yeah, Noise is definitely a wife guy.
And now we move on to the 4th floor, which is where Snotty is housed. We'll need an update on the Kill Snotty incentive relatively soon. Not now, but in probably about like 6-7 minutes.
Yeah, around there. So, we still have a few levels to go through before we get to Snotty, but his fate lies in your hands.
Yeah, I'm an active Kill Snotty enthusiast, if you're wondering.
Yeah, we all hate Snotty around here.
Though another fan favorite level like golf, the Pig City. It's basically just a city full of cops and criminals, but every single resident is a pig.
Basically just Pig Brooklyn.
Yeah,
Well said.
there's definitely a joke to be made here. Make it at your own discretion.
But specifically for the Pig City, it's like golf and Oregano Desert. It has taxis, which you can do, which are where the Toppins are housed. You have 5 taxis, each 5 Toppins. We've done this song and dance before. That was actually another strat that we do, where you spin around the pizza slug there and break the metal block without having to go up and body slam it.
Yeah,
Because when you pile drive an enemy, it lets you break metal blocks from a much lower height.
There is a harder variation of that called Space Jam, where you go at full speed and jump and pile drive, but it is a lot harder and more precise than
Unfortunately, Pino got caught by the cops, so it's time for Gustavo and Brick to come back for their final level. It's their second and their last. Also, Vanny,
we always get Taxi 5 here, which is not usual, but because we missed the top in Pizza Escape, which is kind of embarrassing, because that's probably one of the most easy topics to get, we'll have to go into Taxi 5.
Usually, in any percent, we don't do any of the Gustavo taxis, i.e. Taxi 4 and Taxi 5, but seeing as Vanny is missing one of the Toppins that we usually have by now, we do need to actually do an extra taxi to make up for it. We usually skip the Gustavo and Brick taxis because they just are a very slow character, so it's better to just skip the Toppins and go out grab other ones that we can with Pepino.
Yeah.
Alright, now we're just coming up on this last little section. To the door. Hello,
Ooh, she got
Grandma.
spooked.
It's pizza time.
Yeah, we just bashed down that grandma's support pillar in her house. I don't know what she ever did to Gustavo and Brick, but
She's like,
I
what
think
did
she
you
may
just
I think
do?
she may be homeless now.
Yeah, that house
Well,
is
no.
not crumbling down.
Yeah, I mean, she's still sitting in her house.
She's just stuck in shock, the whole thing.
Gustavo, the menace to society.
Unfortunately, after this section, this is the last time we'll see Gustavo as a playable character.
Bye-bye, Gus. Brick.
Yeah.
Up until until the end of the game, it's only gonna be Pepino.
Yeah. We're eternally back to that guy.
Exactly. Pig City is also a level that doesn't really have many gimmicks. It has a lot of small gimmicks like the rail grinding, the ramp jumps, and as the aforementioned taxis. But there's not really a specific transformation in Pig City.
Alright.
The next level we're going to play is actually one of the longest levels in the game.
And a very
not
notorious
just
one.
in length, but also in name, which is why usually it's abbreviated to just Freezer. This is Refrigerator, Refrigerador, Freezerator. Just call it Freezer.
Yeah, please just call it Freezer for our sanity's sake.
Freezer is a very interesting level because it's not slow because of slow transformations or anything like that. You don't even actually get a transformation up until the very end. It is just a very long level with very long routes.
Yeah, it's very reliant on just using basic principles and foundational tech. There's not really much going on. Even the transformation's pretty minimal.
The main thing you are going to use in Freezer are these temperature sliders that when you hit them, they melt all the ice in the room and let you pass through previously blocked paths.
I always thought it was like an oven that you turned on, and it just made the room hotter.
I thought it was like a thermostat or something. Just...
I guess a heater would make sense.
Yeah.
Now, this room is weirdly infamous because it used to have a lot of history with people competing back and forth to get that room specifically to have the most optimal strats known to man.
The world record history of Freezer 11.
Yeah, it's an actual video that exists. Watch it. Wink, wink. Again.
This section in Freezer is sort of reminiscent of Blood Sauce Dungeon because it is only a few rooms, but it is almost entirely vertical. But after this pizza box, you just go back to usual horizontal Freezer gameplay. There is a slight strat here that you can do, where if you super jump and shoulder bash there, you could jump underneath that section instead of going over like Vanny did. It doesn't save very much at all, it's only about 1 second, but it is something that you can do. It's called jetpack skip. So while Freezer may not have had a transformation exactly, this is the gimmick of Freezer. Near the end, you get this pizza with a hot pepper on it called Satan's Choice, and that just basically makes you into an unstoppable force.
Yeah,
It gives you the power of flight and also complete invincibility to anything except bottomless pits.
Yeah.
Not to mention that it also lets you break these ice blocks that you couldn't before. These are different from the just regular ice that the thermostat breaks. They're specifically made for the Satan's Choice power-up.
Just heading back up, breaking through all the ice couldn't get through before.
Alright. The escape's pretty trivial. You can't just go back through all the rooms you've just gone through, but you can go through new paths now because of the ice blocks that Turbo mentioned.
The ice blocks are basically this level's equivalent of John blocks because the escape just becomes a lot shorter by breaking through the ice blocks where you couldn't before.
Sometimes if you stop holding jump to fly at specific points in the air, you'll be able to just keep your speed through that section. I did not get that. It's a very tight, like, release.
Though, seeing as there's only one more level, well, a boss fight, in between us and Snotty, could we get an update on Snotty's fate?
Currently, Snotty's fate hangs not as much in the balance as I would like. We're almost $45, a little bit more off. I have pizza, so it should be fair to get Snotty killed, and even I put my money towards it, so everybody, maybe I can get you a little bit excited to do that?
Come on, guys, if it's not for killing Snotty, just save those kids, goddammit.
Exactly.
Though the boss fight that stands between us and Snotty is fake Pepino. Basically just a doughy mess of God knows what that is meant to resemble Pepino in some way.
Yeah, we found
He basically does messed up versions of your own attacks. He has a grab, a mock run, a body slam, but they just look a lot weirder than Pepino's own. You can also spawn a bunch of clones of himself, as you can see. But mostly, at least the first phase is sort of like this game's version of an auto-scroller, because he shows up, you hit him a couple times, and then he just spawns a bunch of invincible clones to attack you while he rests up. The second phase, however, is a lot faster because you can basically just combo him one attack after the next if you can play it well.
Truly man-made horrors beyond our comprehension. Or dough-made horrors, in this case.
Ooh.
No, I think Fake Pepino's pretty chill.
Fake Pepino can go on a scale from a silly goofy goober to basically an SCP.
Well, he is an SCP, but he is also a silly goober.
Yeah, this is the second
Schrodinger's
phase.
Pepino.
True. The second phase here instead of swapping between regular Fake Pepino and the clones, the clones attack you while Fake Pepino is also there, so it's just basically a combination of both things that happen in Phase 1. That makes it significantly harder to do, but also significantly faster because of the fact that Fake Pepino is always there. And once you beat Phase 2, it doesn't just end like a normal boss fight. You have to run through this tunnel away from a monstrous version of Fake Pepino.
Well, where is he?
So,
He's kind of just lagging behind.
yeah, near the release of the game, they severely nerfed Fake Pepino's speed in this section, so if you have even the slightest knowledge of Pepino's movement, he doesn't even show up. You barely even see him.
Alright, okay, so it's about time now. It's time to know if we're killing or saving Snotty. And I think we're saving him for now. You lucky thing. I'd pile drive you to the ground if I could. For all the things you've done.
What did he do?
Everything. He did everything
Unspeakable things.
to me. Yeah, unspeakable
Well,
things.
in other news, other than Snotty's continued existence, the last level of Floor 4 is Peppybot Factory. Though we did only play 2 levels and the boss up until now, this is actually a floor that we skip a level in. Up until now we only skipped 4 top-ins, but we can skip 9 in total, which we skip all 5 in one of the Floor 4 levels. So, Peppybot Factory, the first half is just regular Pepino movement. There's these conveyors that either go right or left, slow you down or speed you up. But around the halfway mark, there is a transformation that shows up that basically just puts Pepino into a pizza box of his own.
We should probably explain
I'm
that.
sorry, was that
there.
like an Eric high jump?
Oh, we should have probably
was a
explained
thing.
that. So, for some reason, in the infinite wisdom of the Pizza Tower speedrunning community, we called a tech Eric. Literally just the name, Eric. I don't know why, but we did. And yeah, all it takes is fast falling about 2 frames before you are meant to touch the ground, and within those 2 frames, inputting a high jump. And yeah, it's pretty tough. I mean, until recently when we found like ways to set it up, but yeah, you don't really see it very often in runs even now.
It basically is like an insta-turn, but without having to buffer it or set it up with a grab jump.
Exactly. And this transmission right here is the pizza box. You kind of have like slower movement here, but you can spin attack into some rats, which is the only way to progress in these sections, like by default. And you can fly a little bit. You have a few jumps that gain height in increments.
Peppybot Factory is, if I'm not mistaken, the level with the least number of rooms in the entire game. This entire level is made up of only 5 rooms that are reused both in the pre-escape and the escape.
Yeah,
you go through 5.
Like more, but
You go through 5 rooms before the escape, and then as you're going down, you go back through the same rooms.
Yeah, because the vertical rooms in the pre-escape are the exact same ones as the ones in the escape. They're just on different sides of the room.
And despite only having 5 rooms, the rooms are just so long that Peppybot Factory isn't even near the shortest level in the game. It's around middle of the pack in terms of length.
I love to see the chat's enthusiasm for Eric's. Very typical. And we're done with floor 5 because we're skipping the sewer level, which is called, literally just called Oh Shit. Be glad we don't have to say that too many times.
I just like referring to
thing.
it as the funny poop level. Also, despite not killing Snotty, you go so fast there that he gets absolutely terrified out of his mind for his life.
He's just seen his past lives flash before his eyes. He knows how ruthless we are with him. It's just fair, after what he did.
But if you guys remember from floor 1, one of the first levels, Pizzascape, this is basically a harder version of that, called Pizza Scare. This was originally just used in a demo, a Halloween demo for the game, where it was just a reskinned version of Pizzascape. But they actually made it into a fully fledged, unique level in the final game.
You even hear that melody used in this song as well, pretty prevalently as well. But still,
Pizza Scare is also a level that doesn't really have a transformation per se. It has this king ghost that follows you around everywhere and possesses things to try and hit you, whether that's electrical outlets or little kickers that turn you into a ball, etc., etc.
Yeah, and there are priests around who want you to kill the ghosts for them, and they give you the power of Christ to do that.
Those aren't priests, actually. Those are similar to priests, but I think they're called exorcists.
Oh, I see.
Though Pizza Scare is the final level where there is a substantial level skip. This is the second most important skip behind Berg Skip in Golf.
And one with the second most stupid name.
Yes. Also, like the name Eric, this strat here is called Stinky Fart.
Give me a minute. Oh, Jesus Christ.
But in that section of the level, you're usually supposed to go down below to trap the King Ghost in a TV, and then you can go and break the Pillar John, because otherwise the King Ghost would just kick you away and you couldn't get there. But if you go fast enough, he just can't react, and you get to break Pillar John with no problem.
It seems about...
But yes, that strat is called Stinky Fart, and I am being completely serious when I say that.
The person who named it is very proud, by the way.
Yeah, it was like one of their friends found it, and they were like, "You should name it Stinky Fart," and like it stuck. Somehow.
I'm pretty sure like around the time it was discovered, people were like heavily pushing back that name, but we just kind of kept it. Same with Eric.
And that's the end of Pizza Scare now. Only 2 more levels remain before the final boss, which Floor 5 is the only level that actually only has 3 levels before the boss fight. Though it technically does have a 4th level, but it's a bit special, if I can say.
Yeah, have you heard of Five Nights at Freddy's? Well, you're in for a surprise.
This level is called Don't Make a Sound. It is very inspired by Five Nights at Freddy's.
It is literally Five Nights at Freddy's but in the Pizza Tower game engine.
So, the main gimmick with this level is that there are Toppin monsters that, whenever the alarms are triggered, they start chasing after you, and if you get caught by them, you get jump scared a la Five Nights at Freddy's and get stuck into an animatronic suit for a couple seconds. Usually speedrunners don't actually get caught by them because, realistically speaking, they're actually not that fast. I think the main reason why people get caught by them is just the fear of being jump scared.
Yeah. In the escape, they can be quite tricky because they go in from the other side. They finally figured out that the best way to chase you is to already be there from the start.
But
yeah,
we'll get to the escape when we get to the escape. Suffice to say, Pepino is not as helpless as the main protagonist in Five Nights at Freddy's is.
What, do you have cameras? Pepino will be locked and loaded, as you'll see in a minute.
But at least in the pre-escape, all Pepino can do is just try and not trigger any alarms and just run away as best as he can.
Ooh, okay.
I would say that Pepino could beat Michael Afton in a fight, but why are we making these two middle-aged men go against each other?
True. Yeah, why would we do that?
That room is quite scary to see because the Toppin monster is very close to catching you, but if you do it well, then no matter how close he gets, he's never actually gonna catch you.
Yeah.
So we are approaching the end now because we are getting to the room where you're actually chased by all 4 of the Toppin monsters at the same time.
Oh, wow, I completely forgot that you just keep running there.
Which, yeah, they are called Toppin monsters because they are all based off of the Toppins that you collect. And yes, this is why Pepino is not helpless. The solution to the haunted animatronics in Five Nights at Freddy's?
Kill them all!
Shotgun!
Kill them all, I say.
Oh yeah, and there's
the
Toppin monster.
They just all instantly die as soon as you blast them with the shotgun.
They go straight to waste shot.
The 5th Toppin monster is the pineapple, like, Elvis kind of deal. And
he acts uniquely in comparison to the other Toppin monsters. The other ones just chase after you and jump scare you if they catch you. This one does not have the ability to jump scare you at all.
Yeah,
But
he just activates the.
he instantly activates the alarms when he does his little
We've got a thing
pose.
coming up here.
And that right
Sick.
there was a super taunt shot. Usually, we can see in the next level, if you taunt and shoot with the shotgun on the same frame, then depending on the taunt you get, which is random, you can save or lose time on your shotgun shot depending on the taunt you get, because each taunt has a different amount of frames that it skips from the shotgun shooting animation. If you do a super taunt, however, it is always consistently it always consistently saves as much time as I think the best taunt you can get normally.
It's very funny to me how that is a genuine piece of RNG we have to worry about.
Which, another fan favorite level like Golf in the Pig City, War. There is no Pillar John in War. You grab a shotgun at the start and the timer instantly starts ticking. There's War terminals around the level that add 30 seconds to your time, but it is just a mad dash straight through the level. And it is quite a unique level in that way.
Yeah,
Because there is no escape or pre-escape. The entire level is just one big adrenaline rush. But as you can see there, Vanny did try and do a taunt shot. Unfortunately, the RNG didn't line up. It depends on the pose that Pino hits. The thumbs up pose that he does is the best one, while the diploma one is the worst one.
Yeah, because we do not
There
like
are
graduating
others in between. Most of them actually lose time in comparison to just regularly shooting the shotgun, but some of them do actually save significant amounts of time.
I don't know, it just seems like a skill issue to me.
I couldn't get good RNG. Like, yeah, that's a skill issue.
Yeah, just play better.
Though, even though this gimmick was used in Don't Make a Sound First, the shotgun is used for different purposes in War. It's actually used to break these target blocks here. And War is actually one of the only levels that has two different transformations. It has both the shotgun and the rocket used.
Oh, yeah.
The main reason being that while the shotgun can absolutely demolish target blocks, it actually can't break rats like most of the other transformations, so you need a little bit of help with the rocket.
That's a very precise jump. Doesn't look like it, but it's a very precise jump, trust me.
Yeah, we specifically call that jump cheese block jump because you jump off of a cheese block.
Yeah. Some things have pretty standard names, some things don't. You just have to learn to expect that. Oh, okay, I had a bit too much speed going into that.
Though we should be nearing the end now with War. That right there is also a thing you can do with the shotgun. If you have the shotgun, you can actually use a super taunt and do an insta-turn without actually having to set up any jump grabs or anything like that. It's basically similar to an Eric in that way, where you can just do an insta-turn without any setup.
Yeah. Alright, and now we are on to the final boss. We can finally give that pizza face, a taste of his own medicine.
Though I don't think Pizza Face expected Pepino to get here this fast because he's still showering.
Yeah, the funny thing is, it's not really as like common with Pepino, but people who play the noise will often use Noise's Crusher to go over the shower to skip that cutscene. We call it shower skip because, I mean, if you're taking a shower and playing Pizza Tower speedruns, what are you doing?
Well, this is the final boss. It's Pizza Face, and it is by far both the longest boss fight and the longest level in an 80% run. There's four phases to this fight. The first one is just Pizza Face spawning enemies and slamming down. He either spits out enemies while flying, or he slams his face down on the ground and spawns a single enemy for you.
Very bad RNG.
The first
here.
phase is very reminiscent of the final boss fight of Super Mario World with Bowser.
Oh yeah, I see a similarity.
But once you beat Pizza Face, it's shown that it's actually not Pizza Face.
Surprise! It's Ronald McDonald, I mean Pizza Head.
The entire time, Pizza Head has just been inside Pizza Face, taking a dump.
And they really sampled a 1920s song for this? Absolutely wild. What sample?
Pizza Head is phase 2 of this fight, where he gives you a revolver, like the Vigilante fight, and you just have to keep shooting at him repeatedly while he does very cartoony attacks. Throwing dynamite at you, shooting himself with an Uzi, pulling up the entire level Pizzascape by pulling up a bunch of Fortnites. And the broken pizza face also helps Pizza Head by dropping down gears on you every now and then. Hell, Pizza Head even pulls out the TV HUD to try and hit you.
A shot in the crotch, nasty.
After Pizza Head gets defeated, he just pulls out every other boss from before, and Pino does not like that.
The Swarm.
He has lost it. He is ready to go all in and punch the living life out of them! This part of the fight.
This is phase 3, where Pepino has officially just lost all semblance of sanity. He has just gone absolutely crazy, and instead of just doing 1 damage per hit, he does 4.
Can we blame him though?
Beats every single boss with only 4 hits in total instead of 16. First you get rid of Pepperman, then Gustavo actually shows up to help you deal with the Vigilante. Seeing as you don't actually have the revolver, you can't actually damage Vigilante, but you can throw Gustavo at him to stun him, and then actually hit him.
Thanks, Gustavo.
You have to stall Vigi, like the timing when he actually, like, gets proper hit, by rolling and just kind of running around for a bit to wait for Gustavo to spawn back in. You cannot attack Vigi otherwise.
Gustavo is a home. Gustavo is a real one.
He is an absolutely real one.
The thing you can do here, as the noise is spawning, if you're fast enough, you can actually just hit him on the first frame he actually shows up. So even though you didn't stun him with Gustavo, you can still just get a free hit in if you're fast enough. But yeah, the third phase of the boss fight is basically just a boss rush, but the Pino has gone absolutely bonkers.
What?
And now that you've gotten rid of all of the other bosses, Pizza Head shows up for the final bout.
Finally shows up, the coward.
And this is... Usually people refer to this as Phase 4. Sometimes they just also refer to it as like an extension of Phase 3. But basically Pizza Head just does a couple attacks and then laughs at you, at which point you can hit him freely. He has a boxing glove attack, which just does damage. A fly swatter, where he runs across until he hits the nearest wall, and a stomp attack, which, if you're on the ground when his foot hits the ground, then you get knocked up in the air and stunned. So that's why Vanny goes in the air and climbs the walls to not be stunned. And after this, we should be finished with the final boss.
And we have one more level after this, which we'll see in a minute.
Pino gives Pizza Face the absolute beating of a lifetime here.
Look, that's just always pent-up rage about to go through medieval castles, a literal gutter, supposedly a sewer but not this time, a golf course, outer space, multiple desert areas, morph the chicken on his head, and yeah, you get the point. He's pretty bad.
And after we finish off Pizza Head, the last pizza time. This is the Crumbling Tower of Pizza. It's basically running all the way through the past 5 hub floors under a time limit. You see, the icon for when the time is up is no longer Pizza Face sleeping. Usually in the levels, if you run out of time, Pizza Face spawns in, and if he catches you, then time's up. In the Crumbling Tower of Pizza, if you run out of time, that's it. You're instantly dead.
Yeah, because the tower crumbles, like the name.
Luckily, though, the timer is actually very, very lenient.
We didn't have enough combo there, because you usually need 10 combo for super taunts, but usually we super taunt those pizza boxes and they just go away.
Well, as you can see, Pepino saves everyone that encountered across the stage. Yes, even Snotty, as you saw, he also picked up Snotty to save him from the Crumbling Tower.
Well, damn, we didn't kill him. But hey, he's a friend who we made along the way. We gotta give him some due diligence and get him out.
But yeah, even the bosses, you can see Gustavo and Brick, Mr. Stick, Snotty, and even fake Pepino is following Pepino out of the tower.
Yeah, funny
And
thing
the
is...
Crumbling Tower of Pizza is basically just a collage of all of the levels. It uses many of the gimmicks from before. We just saw the Weenie Mount from Fast Food Saloon, the rocket from Deep Dish 9, he had the shotgun from War and Don't Make a Sound at the start. It's basically just a nice send-off to a very short but sweet game.
Yeah, and funny thing is, if you're playing as the Noise, he won't even, like, save anyone. He'll kill them on the spot as he's running past. He doesn't have time for people.
What a
Well,
maniac.
with the exceptions of his girlfriend, his minion, and a random bucket he found lying around.
I mean, the bucket did due diligence in some levels. But yeah, Noise is a maniac. Pepino is actually a decent human being. Who would have thought?
I don't know why Pepino decided to save Noise. I would have left him crumbling.
But they've all gone through so hard things, so it's understandable.
But yeah, we are nearing the complete end of the game.
Ooh, I was a bit too early with that. But if you set that up correctly, that is a strat called Quad Taunt, where if you time 4 taunts and a super taunt, right one after the other, you can go straight through at max speed when the cannon goblin on the HUD sends a cannon to that stupid rat. Well, I did
Yeah,
not get
now
it.
at the end we just completely run in a straight line. We get enough dash pads to even go above the speed cap usually, and
Yeah.
that's it. This is the last section of the game.
You can save a little bit of time here by jumping over the pizza boys here, because every single enemy kill is 5 frames of time loss, and every roll pass is 1 frame of time loss. And now,
And
that is time! Wow, that was
well
a fun
played,
time.
GG.
GG's!
Good job, Vanny.
Oh, that was a pleasure. I'm really glad to have been here. But yeah, that's Pizza Tower. It's one of the most active games on StreamOn.com, actually. So we get quite a few runners tackling different levels and different categories. There's so much in this game. From 100% true ending, 80% unrestricted. Yeah, there's a lot to be had here. And over the last 10 months, this game has genuinely brought me so many good friends, and it's hard to shout them all out. I want to give specific shout-outs to my commentary cast for today, Turpo and Ellie Jelly, both very good friends. Jade, who I've bonded with over YTP MVs, and a lot of other things. She also shouted me out at GDQ, so that's a bonus point. Imposter Blank, who is absolute monster at this game, has been for over a year now. Yonacat, he's a weird one, but he's also ridiculously talented. And thank you to XBC for helping me get my bug fixes into the game in the recent updates. And the entire Pizza Tower speedrunning community for their continued support, and my YouTube audience too, who helped me get a lot of subs from making speedrun tutorials and stuff. Such a pleasure to be in this community, man. Anything you guys want to say?
Nothing really other than well played on the run, and I'm glad I have been honored to be a commentator here.
Shoutouts to Soaring Sloth, because he's, I don't know.
Oh, shoutouts
cool.
to Raxty Flipnote. He's a bro. He's a really cool guy. Really good friend.
Yeah,
The end.
very cool dudes.
Well,
before
this is the final bit of the game, Pepino's final judgment.
Pino now
Shows
is judging you hard for how you've played the game.
Shows you how much completion you've gotten, which for any percent, yeah, usually around 50% is standard. And even the game
quick as
says
hell.
you are quick as hell.
And remember, kids, violence in defense of pizza or defending from pizza is self-defense.
If you're
Alright.
defending your restaurant from a giant laser beam that threatens to destroy your entire livelihood, violence is the answer.
Self-defense. All right, everybody. With that, thank you for this hell of a ride with Mach 2, Mach 3, whatever. We're breaking all the speed barriers. We go in invincible, undefeatable, whatever. Super Pepino. Yeah. we'll throw you all out with our heartiest greetings, and hopefully everybody has pizza in reach. Kicking it over to intermission. Thanks for being with us. You'll have me back yapping, and
Thank you everyone
yeah.
too.
was a blast.
Bye everyone.
Have a good one.
Bye.